Locker room. Lucy performed well on the first day of training for the new athletics season, though it was a long and frustrating day. The coach was caught up in organizing squads for all the juniors, so Lucy and the other seniors had to make their best of it. Coach would get back to them as often as possible, set them some training, then drift back the kiddies before they killed themselves, or someone else, with the equipment. With all the warm-ups and cool-downs, Lucy, by the end of it, was a fairly sore and sorry girl. Martin took her home and she stood in the shower for some time trying to untie knotted muscles. It took her until Wednesday to be back to normal. Martin had been a champion football player in high school and college, so knew how to fix the problem. Lucy needed a good rub down as soon as she came off the track. At the start of the next session, Martin approached Coach Sorensen and asked if there might be somewhere at the track where they might go. Martin had been on the receiving end of many rub-downs, so knew what to do. They just needed somewhere a little private to let Martin work his magic. "I have just the place," chirped the coach. When they built this stadium they had such a thing in mind. Sorensen walked off at a brisk pace, signaling that they should follow. "The away team coach's room," he added, with a little fanfare to his voice. "It is only used on game days. During training sessions like this it is always empty." The room was on the far side of the stadium. The locker rooms, coaches' rooms, and the like had been laid out as mirror images of each other. Coach Sorensen's room was at one end of the building, the away team's at the other end. When they arrived they noticed that the door was equipped with a digital keypad. Coach Sorensen walked up to it and punched in the code, and as he did, he spoke each number out loud. 0704. "Think of the date." 4th of July, Martin responded. "Correct." Once they went inside, Martin and Lucy saw the full extent of what the coach was offering them. A large room, with desk on one side, a large, padded massage table on the other. Shelves for gear, pegs to hang things, and a few lockers with keys dangling from each lock. Through an open doorway was another room, a hall really, and at the end of the hall another door with a frosted glass panel through which streamed the strong morning light. Off the hallway on one side was a large shower, and on the other, a toilet cubicle and a bench with hand basin. "Oh!" exclaimed Lucy, "and we can use this? For my star athlete ... anything." The coach mispronounced the word intentionally for emphasis. "Sold," said Martin before the coach had a chance to renege. "What's outside?" he added, pointing to the door in the other room. "Your own private entrance, complete with undercover car park," Sorensen added, opening the door to show his customers. Then, pointing to a large red switch, up, next to the door. "Just hit this as you leave to shut down this whole section." "Okay? Thank you, coach. You're the best," added Lucy, her hands in a prayer position. "On the track in 15 minutes." The coach barked as he strode from the room. "You race back and get your gear, while I bring the car around." "Do you remember the way?" said Martin. "Dad, I'm not stupid," yelled Lucy as she disappeared out the door. Training went better this time. Coach had the squads worked out, he had an extra volunteer to watch the kiddies with the javelins, so he was able to devote more time to Lucy and the other seniors. And he worked them hard. By the end of the session Lucy was worn out. She had a little strain across her right shoulder and back from the javelin and something going on in her hamstrings from the hurdles. The two strolled back to their new room where Martin had already laid out a towel on the massage table. Lucy quickly removed her gym shoes and darted into the toilet. "I need to pee so bad," she said, running into the cubicle. She didn't bother to close the door, after all it was only Dad outside. She didn't even bother to remove her gear. Instead, she grabbed one side of the panty section, dragged it aside, and pissed with all her clothes on. Martin heard the splashing as the piss gushed out of his daughter, and was surprised to see her standing at the door, fully clothed, just seconds after the noise had ceased. Lucy jumped up on the massage table and sat there. Martin was the first to speak. "What's hurting the most?" Lucy slapped the front of her right shoulder with her left hand. "I've done something nasty with a javelin," is all she said. Martin proceeded to massage Lucy's shoulder and biceps, kneading the top of her deltoid and her trap. After a few minutes Lucy spoke up. "You're not getting it? It's down here more. Probably your minor pec," her father replied. "I can get to that with your trailing off at the end." "With my top on?" Lucy suggested. "Yeah. Then just say so." "For heaven's sake, you're my dad. You have seen me naked heaps of times," she snapped back. With that she reached in under her breasts and tore her top off in one fluid movement. She had been wearing a gym top with a built-in sports bra. Not anymore. She sat there, her magnificent young tits pointing straight out in front of her. Martin came from behind, lifted her arm and cradled her tit in his hand. He worked the muscles as best he could, but it was obvious to Lucy that he was holding back. "Oh. For Christ's sake, Dad. Get stuck into it? It's just you and me here. If I've got sore muscles under my tit then rub my fucking tit," Lucy blurted out in a most frustrated voice. "As a matter of fact I think I have a problem with both tits. Now come and fix it," she exclaimed, breaking from his arms and laying herself, on her back, on the table. "Are you sure? For fuck's sake, Dad. Stop being a pussy. You're my dad. You can touch me anywhere you like. Now come and give me a decent fucking massage." She paused a second. And sorry for swearing, she added, returning to her little girl voice. So Martin stood behind Lucy's head, reached over, and gave his beautiful 14-year-old daughter a full-blooded tit rub. He gave up worrying about avoiding her nipples, he just massaged every part of her chest that needed work. Digging his fingertips in and under her rigid mammaries, pushing her entire breast from side to side, working the strained muscles underneath. Most of it was part of the massage, but just a small fraction was Martin copping a feel of his daughter's wonderful tits. He backed away from her, adjusting the boner in his pants before she sat up again. "What's next?" "Hammies. Both sides, but mainly my right. It's my leading leg in the hurdles and I went out a little hard in the first run." And with those words Lucy rolled onto the table, face down. Martin set to work on the back of her legs, massaging her from knees to panties. "Is it in your glutes?" he asked. "No. But, up and tight underneath them." Martin spread her legs and worked the muscles close up under her ass. He noticed that her panties had a large wet patch right where her pussy was. Was that sweat, pee, or something else, he wondered. Martin kept on massaging his daughter, and after the scolding he received about her breasts he decided to massage whatever and wherever he needed. After a while the usually high-strung Lucy was now a relaxed lump of jello in the middle of the table. He was almost done, but before he finished he had another good look at the wet patch over her pussy. It had grown. Considerably. "Oops. Into the shower, young lady." He ordered. But I don't have any other clothes," she replied. "You have your tracksuit. But no panties and no bra. Young lady. We leave here and drive directly home. We will not be stopping anywhere. Why the hell do you need either?" Then a second later, "And besides, with a body as hot as yours you could drive home with a towel wrapped around you and nobody would care." So Lucy rose from the table and took a shower. She didn't bother pulling the curtain, she didn't care what her father saw. Martin was waiting with the towel from the massage table. He wrapped it around his gorgeous girl and gave her a hug. "We must bring more gear next time. Extra towels, a change of clothes for you, some massage oil. Can you think of anything else?" Martin queried Lucy. "Yeah. Some nicer toiletries, my soap and shampoo and stuff," added Lucy as she climbed, sons and underwear, into her tracksuit. Martin and Lucy collected their gear, checked the room one more time and shut down the room as instructed. After he had closed the outer door, and heard the lock click shut, he tried the combination to make sure he could be back next week. No problems. On the drive home they were both silent for a while. Martin broke the silence with a very direct question. "Did my massage make you wet?" "Wet?" was Lucy's only reply. "Yes. You know." "What?" "Oh. You mean horny wet?" Yeah," she answered, sheepishly at the end. "Lucy. I don't know if the massages are a good idea. I'm your dad, and fathers shouldn't be making their daughters horny." "What? Would you rather Coach Sorensen gave me the massage and made me wet?" "Lucy," Martin exclaimed, taking his eyes off the road for the first time. "No, seriously, Dad. If I'm lying on the massage table, mostly naked, and someone is massaging my tits, or my thighs, or my ass, what do you really think is going to happen? I'm gonna get wet. The more skilled the hands, the wetter I'm going to get. And you've got great hands," Lucy added. "That is my point. I shouldn't be making you wet at all." Martin's eyes left the road again. Dad. Let me say it once more. And listen this time. You can see me naked. You can touch me anywhere you like. And I mean anywhere. You can make me wet anytime. As a matter of fact, I want you to make me wet." That massage you just gave me was the best I have ever had, and I don't care if I leave a puddle of pussy juice on the massage table if after you're done I feel as relaxed as I felt today. Get it? This is just between you and me, okay? Shit, Dad. I'm not stupid. Of course it is. They drove for a few more minutes before Lucy piped up with her own question. Touching me makes you hard, doesn't it? Yes! And that's why I have a problem with it. He replied, his voice obviously strained. I love you, Dad, was her only response. They were almost home when Lucy asked Martin to pull over for a second. She tapped him on the arm and spread her legs. There was another wet patch around her pussy. I'm gonna need your help getting in the house, I think. Just talking about being wet makes me wet. What do I need to do? I don't know. I'll just walk straight to my room and strip. If anyone wants me to stop and talk, I'll just say I need to pee and you can run a diversion for me. Okay? As it was, Lucy did not have to worry. Luke and Sam heard the car and were rushing to make sure they not left anything incriminating lying around. Adam was asleep, recovering from his second week of training with his mother. And Zena was watching TV, trying to look like nothing was happening, her cunt still wet and buzzing. Martin sat down next to her as Lucy flashed past. How was athletics? Good. And how was your morning? Good. Great. I think I'll take a shower. Okay. After that exciting exchange, Martin disappeared into the shower and flogged the boner he had carried since he first touched Lucy's tits. He was so horny it only took a few minutes before he washed his load down the drain. Lucy was in her own bathroom. She locked both doors to make sure nobody could come in, then proceeded to set a new record for how far she could shove her fingers up her cunt.